I'm listing the things that will take you from good to professional and make your footage really unique, and this is what I apply. And first, I'll do the initial 5 that will take you from beginner to good, and these are things you've probably seen before. Skip to 6 minutes if you just want the pro stuff. Don't adjust in the middle of your shot while you're filming. Oh my god. It removes all the majesty of a drone. This is no longer like a god's eye view, it's some guy behind a camera. It just looks sloppy and uncalculated. You probably do drugs. It removes all the majesty of a drone to begin with. You're now making people think about the guy behind the camera instead of just looking at the footage and pretending the drone doesn't exist. When you start filming, commit and get at least 10 seconds. Film until it's awkward, like more footage than you think you need. You always wind up needing more in real life when you're editing than you actually filmed. Flying too high, obviously this is a beginner thing. Everybody goes through this phase. You go to 399.5 feet, and then once you're up there, you think about everything going wrong and the financial burden. You mentally cave to the anxiety and you panic land at 80% battery just in case. So get that out of your system. That's fine. After that moment though, there's no reason to be at 200 feet for every single shot. Sure, throw one of them in there because it's cool sometimes to get like a grid view of neighborhoods or parts of your city, whatever, but not all the time. It doesn't need to be a million miles away. Number 3 is having no respect for what the camera can do. I think the basic advice is, learn exposure, like make sure your shutters, okay, everybody says that. What it really means though, more importantly, is if your drone isn't capable of doing it, like if you have a Mini 3 Pro or something and it's filming directly into the sun, you're gonna get some harsh shadows under the waves at the beach. Like it's gonna have a difficult time doing that. It's a smaller sensor. So if you dial in the settings and you still notice that like this doesn't look good, you might be putting it through too much and the drone just can't handle it. It's better to work with the drone and what it's good at doing than try to force it into a situation like low light footage or something that it just isn't built for. The more recent your drone is though, the better the exposure balancing is going to be in the software. So when you tap to focus, they'll balance out a little bit less of the sky and the sun and a little bit more of the foreground so that you don't just get this pure contrast, like super bright, super dark. You get like a digital balance between the two. A very simple fix for situations like this: if you're filming into the sun, turn around. You're now working with the sun and the lighting will be a lot more even. If this is for a job or something like real estate where you want to get photos of a house, wait an hour and come back later when the lighting situation has changed. Or if you really want to impress the client, come back tomorrow, try again with better lighting. If this is a favor for an in-law that you don't really like, just try to adjust the shutter as much as you can so that the subject is brighter. You don't want to focus on the sun and have a really dark image of a house. You want to focus on the house more, so balance that out a little bit. But sometimes you can't help it, and that's when editing comes in handy. We'll get to that in a minute. If this is photography though, you've got a way easier life so long as you're shooting in RAW format. These things can really take a beating. You're shooting straight into the sun, and shooting in RAW format, you can adjust all the shadows. Like, I'm not going to say it's the best situation to be in, but it's almost like it doesn't phase. It still looks really good. Not just the regular JPEGs that you take off the card, like just your drone's default. You have to know how to use RAW format. But even the JPEGs though, I don't think they'll come out that bad. Why your footage sucks, number 4, because you suck. Trees everywhere. Nobody cares. Yes, this is your test footage on your first flight. You're super impressed. Your wife might pat you on the shoulder. Nobody else cares. You're gonna post this to a Facebook group or to YouTube, and you're gonna tag it with your drone model. Title it something like "My First Flight." Who is going to see this? Tree people? Arborists? A cavity-seeking red-breasted nuthatch? No. Drone people. And drone people don't care. They've seen this a million billion times. Because of your tags and titles, those are the people whose feed this is going to pop up in. And they're not interested. They've seen it a bajillion times. Posting straight from the camera with like no editing at all. You're going to load this up through DJI's app and to YouTube or something. It's going to be like 720p if you just stream it to your phone or like screen record or do this like the really shortcut easy way. 4K footage versus 720p, what you're showing, that is 1/9 the quality of what you filmed. What is the point of doing this? Save the video to the memory card. Take the memory card out, stick it in your computer. Copy the files over and save it on your computer somewhere. This is the full quality now, saved to your computer as long as you keep it there. Anywhere you post it, you're not losing any resolution. No editing at all. Oh my God, the epitome of laziness. If you are too lazy to cut off the 10 seconds where you fly or adjust or get into place before you film the thing that was actually worth filming. Let's say collectively 1,000 people watch your video. Across 1,000 people, that 10 seconds turns into like 167 minutes of time out of all of mankind that you just took for your stupid intro. Not to mention, it's not going to get boosted anywhere in any algorithm because of how many people just clicked away or didn't care or skipped through it. Or the video starts with a 7-second fade in from black. I don't know you. I don't know what's coming. This could be just a video of some fat guy's nipple. I'm not going to like emotionally get invested like I'm sitting in a theater and there's like anticipation building up. I'm going to start it, and if it's not giving me a reason to trust you right away, I'm going to skip through it, and if it's still stupid, I'm out. Just like every other video that everybody's being fed all day long. You have to start out with your good stuff. You have to get to the point. Equipment wise, has ND filters. This is just a cherry on top, but it's sunglasses for the camera to slow down the shutter. And you can get the shutter closer to something like 60, which is good for 24 or 30 frames a second, whatever you're filming. Between frames, you get a little bit softer of an image, and it's just easier on your eyes when you're watching for like a long time. You notice this if you're a professional, the frames are less choppy individually. Not NDPL, that's polarizer, just normal ND filters. I don't like the funky look of polarizers, whatever they do to your footage. Wipe the freaking lens, you disgusting wart-covered ball of slime. It takes 2 seconds. As soon as I see this footage, it's foggy. I know you don't have 2 seconds to wipe off this nasty lens. Like, if this footage is foggy, it means you have greasy, oily fingers you just shoved all over that lens. No one wants to date you. You're gross. Get a job. Or just wipe your lens off before you fly. Not with your shirt. Your shirt can have small grains of sand on it, and then you would scratch the lens. No, epic music. You look like an 11-year-old who just got their first video editor and first camera. I don't care about synthesizer, Lord of the Rings copy or whatever. It doesn't belong. It's really distracting. The music should be seasoning. So that's like atmospheric something. Really like gentle EDM beats. Like, you don't need anything super distracting. Don't spin. It never works. As much as orbiting something helps, like to make it look dramatic, the opposite happens when you spin. Everybody tries to pull it off, just don't. Don't call me at 2 a.m. on my WhatsApp. Gregory, whoever you are, I appreciate it, but I don't want to fly together. I am fine being internet friends. Now here's the ones that will take you from good to pro, assuming you're doing things correctly, like exposure, flying smoother, more patient, things like that. The conditions are so huge. You need to work with the conditions, not against them. So a hazy day versus a really clear day with tons of clarity where you can see 12 miles away on the horizon, little fluffy Toy Story clouds, you're just going to get better footage. The sunlight is just going to look more fun and less aggressive and harsh and gloomy. You can see how the city sprawls across out to the horizon. Usually you get this pretty much guaranteed right after a rainstorm because all the water's taking the dust out of the air, and that's kind of just how rain works. You get a ton of nice clarity and pretty sunsets for a little while. If I go outside and it's gloomy outside, a lot of times, if I have to look up and do this, I'm just not even going to film. I'll just come back on a different day because I know the footage is not going to come out great. I mean, same thing with sunsets. Not all sunsets are equal. You're going to find that out really quickly. To get the really good stuff, I mean, the stuff that you see people getting tons and tons of likes on Instagram or YouTube, wherever, all of these guys are color grading their footage in the editor. I hate to break your heart and tell you that. The really popular ones know how to work with the camera and know how far they can take it in the software to edit a little bit to augment the feeling, the emotion of like a really red sunset or something. You're taking out all the other colors and just leaving the red so it looks really cool. To clarify, I'm not saying you can't get great stuff without any color editing at all. I'm just saying that the really, really popular footage you see on Instagram and stuff has some color grading to it. So you can film with an Air 3, like an Autel Evo Light Plus, and if all the conditions align, you can get phenomenal footage straight from the card. You will get the closest to a really great shot with a Mavic 3, naturally, just straight from the card. But especially for cleaning up mistakes or if it was a little too dark, you really should learn to edit some. And then a step beyond that is color grading to add to the emotion of the shot, like turning down the vibrance to focus on one color. I've done editing and motion graphics for a career, so I know it's not fair to act like everybody just whips this software out and can do this super easy. But even just a little bit of knowing this will help you a ton. You don't have to master this like overnight. You can do it one step at a time. Another part of editing is just really simple stuff like cropping in. I use this constantly. Most of the time when I film on something like a Mavic 3, that footage is 5.1K. Even if I crop in, because the resolution is higher than 4K, it's going to be the equivalent of around 4K in the end anyway. You wouldn't be able to notice. And that lets me move around, find more expressive framing, find like better balance. It gives it more of a telephoto look, which is more like a movie. But I will still do this on regular 4K footage anyways. Almost all of my footage you see, I have zoomed in a tiny bit and moved around to find better or more unique framing. Movement matters a ton when it adds to the shot. A great example is, like I said earlier, an orbit. If you're orbiting and it shows off the perspective with something in the foreground and a ton in the background, now you're forced to look at how wide this is, like how much land there is, so you feel the depth of the environment versus just being up in the air. Another example is here. The more I pull out, the more comes into the shot to add to it. And I was lucky that Verena fits perfectly in a wide frame. So, it's like picture perfect, but even if I wasn't here, you get the point. You can stay low to the ground while you're passing over something, so it gives it some action action on screen. You can see all this whizzing by. You can sync up with something. If your name is Billy Kyle and you live in Philadelphia, this is a great opportunity to get a really unique shot just chasing this subway here, which is going 1 speed. Film things that are relevant. And this is a really easy way to get views on TikTok or Instagram Reels. If you post drone footage sunset, and that's the name of your clip, and those are your tags, hashtag Mavic 3. No, you will get people looking for Mavic 3, looking for drone footage. Those are drone guys, people interested in buying a drone or other drone people. And like I said before, they won't care. If you title and tag it something like Crazy Sunset Arizona State Fair, 99% of the people who just went to the state fair don't have a drone and have low standards. So anybody who just went, or they get this in their feed because they're looking up the hashtag or something, they're gonna like this because they probably don't often see things from the air and they just went. This is unique to them. They're easy to impress, so you get some traction, you get some likes and attention. And then these people really appreciate your drone footage instead of using hashtag Mavic 3 and then sending it to a bunch of bitter old men who are like, oh, your exposure's off, the frame rate was incorrect. Is this legal? You can go on a mountain in your city or anywhere and tag hiking or like outdoors, whatever, and those people will still be more appreciative because most of them don't have a drone. Or like a really popular park or something in your town, or like a mountain, whatever it is, just make sure it's relevant to people in your city or just people in general, and randos will appreciate drone footage a heck of a lot more. An even bigger hack for this, if it's super relevant, that's just called news. So like, let's say you went and filmed the wreckage in Tennessee after the hurricane. Everybody wants to see that. Everybody's interested in that in the whole country. You don't always have opportunities like this. I'm just giving you an example, but it doesn't have to be 1 million. It can even be 1,000 views. It could just be a 5K that happened in your city. But if you're the only one with footage, somebody's bound to come across it and remember you. Just build up credibility and a reputation in your city. After a couple, it'll be much easier to get promoted on any algorithm, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. You'll get a better response and real world results, like maybe somebody offers you money to buy some footage, being a big fish in a little pond instead of trying to go hashtag trees, where you need to be the best 0.01% of tree footage on earth. You just can't compete at that Olympic level. Get closer, close enough that you can let the camera soak in all that texture and detail and actually get put to work. If you were just far away, whether it's good or bad conditions outside, it kind of just all looks the same on a sunny day. Expensive drone, normal drone, kind of just looks the same. A drone doesn't have to be maxing out its speed and altitude, whatever, in order to look good. All it does is free you from being tethered to the ground. And whatever you're seeing on the preview is like half as dramatic as whatever it'll be on a computer screen, where you can see the movement much better. Film your city. I've got a whole other video talking about making a town reel wherever you live. But again, just like that other tip, it's relevant to locals. You get in the habit of going to do a few major things in your city, and it forces you to apply the drone in different environments and situations, and that builds up like a lot more confidence for you as a flyer. You will be bored to death filming your neighborhood over and over. So stop doing that and give yourself like a random task or a random like monument or mountain or something to go film. Even if it's just 1 or 2 to start, once you're more comfortable working with the drone and you filmed a little bit, you start to counter the fear of flying or just being lazy with the social credit you get from posting when people nearby enjoy your stuff. So that's like likes and comments and attention, and like when you start getting local fans. Before you know it, you'll have a good amount of experience from doing this over and over, and I bet somewhere between starting and being sort of good, you will have somebody along the way who says, hey, how much is it to license this footage? Or can you come film something like this for me? How much does it cost? Just because they're used to seeing your stuff that you post once a week or however often you post. You only need one, but when you do, it's so much more incentive to get through the boring parts of taking the test to get your Part 107. It makes it so much easier knowing there's money on the other end of it. And then you've tested the market, so you know there's people who want and need this stuff and they like it. Sunsets in your city, low light stuff, malls after sundown, monuments, major attractions, whatever people around you always talk about in your town, whatever pops up first on a Google search for your city, you already know it ranks high, and that's what people want to see when they search your city. Don't be lazy. There is tons to consider. You told yourself you were going to fly everywhere when you talked yourself into spending the money to get this thing. Don't let it sit in the closet and let the interest die, because once that happens, you never will take it out and go get this stuff that you fantasize about. You have to get over the ugly hump at the beginning to make yourself go pursue these things. And then when you're in a habit of it, it's no problem going out to get sunset or like film things on a vacation because you're comfortable with it and you have some confidence. And the good news with a hobby like this, when you screw up, it's noticeable right away, and you screw up pretty hard. So you learn super fast what not to do. Really quickly, things start getting way easier and looking a lot better. And you don't need to pressure yourself to get the best footage in the world if it's a hobby. If you're getting enough out of this, then that's it. And it's a hobby. I mean, you're having a good time. Even if you went through this whole list of stuff I said and only tried one piece of advice at a time or something, that's fine. Then you're getting enough out of your investment so long as you keep using it. That's everything off the top of my head, so that's the end.